The Victor Black Masterclass presentation is brought to you by www.muscleandiron.com.
Sawadee Karp, hello and welcome to another Victor Black Masterclass video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about emotional patience. And specifically what I mean by that is how we can manage expectations against our goals and realizing how long it takes to often fulfill our expectations in this domain. Usually it's much longer than people expect or desire, and I understand that completely. We are very often fed, for want of a better word, stories about how quickly you can progress. 60 days to a six-pack, and these types of messages that are basically used as marketing material in our community, in our tribe. Now, normally when I talk about these subjects, I talk about average individuals. I'm by no means genetically gifted. I have achieved whatever I have achieved in physique development terms, literally just by grinding away at this practice for literally decades in my case. But I understand guys are interested in, they're drawn to genetically elite individuals, and they're often curious about, so what did that guy basically have to do in terms of practices, in terms of time frame, things like that, to get from point A to point B. And this morning I was going through my Instagram feed, and I saw a post from a IFBB professional bodybuilder by the name of Fouad Abiad, and I thought it was very interesting, so I thought I would share his story with you. So Fouad is now, I believe he's 40, or at least in his early 40s. So these photos date back from 2000 kind of time frame. We're talking about 20 odd years here. But I think it's interesting to look at this from the point of view as Fouad can only be described as a genetically elite individual. His story is that on the 21st of May in 2000, at 20 years old, he made a commitment to basically get into bodybuilding in a quote-unquote serious way. Now, I don't know Fouad personally. I don't know whether he ever did any training, but you can see from that photograph on the left-hand side that let's assume he's an untrained individual. He had a promising frame, but very difficult to see exactly what outcome would be realized by applying nutritional training and enhancement inputs to that frame. But anyway, the story goes, he made that commitment on the 21st of May, and just 15 months later, he won his first ever bodybuilding show, in the heavyweight division, a local show in Canada called the Windsor Cup. So that's a fairly extraordinary feat. I'm sure anyone would agree. And today, I'll show you a photograph of Fouad, a more current picture. This guy walks around in the 300-pound class off season. So this is a very genetically gifted individual. But the most important thing I wanted to show guys here was this, and that is a post that he made, as I said, that talked about his journey from 2001, where he won his first bodybuilding show, to 2011, and we could basically say let's assume he was at his peak, if you will, at that time. He may disagree with that. I don't have a problem with that, but this story is referencing his post where he discloses that it took him 10 years to put on 60 pounds of muscle from his first show to the second photograph here. And so the point is, that's 6 pounds a year, okay? Now, hopefully, you can understand the takeaway then from this video, which is, even for the most genetically gifted amongst us, this is a journey which takes many years. You literally have to have an expectation of gains in the vicinity of 5 to 10 pounds of lean tissue mass, increases in stage weight of 5 to 10 pounds a year on year. That's the game, right? Even for the genetically gifted. And this is why sometimes I get a little frustrated at guys that talk about the gains that they realized in a particular cycle, or expectations that they're hoping to see in short time frames, because I am by no means, as I said, genetically gifted. by no stretch of the imagination. Here's an individual that is genetically gifted, truly genetically gifted. The guy won his first show after 15 months of training. And, he still basically is in that 5 to 10 pounds a year gain after his initial, let's call it newbie gains that we all experience. His were a little more profound than mine were, I can assure you that. But the point being here is that if you're serious about this business, you need to practice emotional patience, regardless of what your genetic makeup is. Even the most genetically gifted amongst us, right, are not putting on 30 pounds of quality muscle tissue year on year on year. It just doesn't happen that way, right? There's an initial surge of progress that everybody should experience if they're doing this the right way. That lasts for somewhere between 2 and 3 years. We refer to this as newbie gains. And after that, you've got to basically settle in for the grind, right? That's the way this game is played for all of us. So I thought it would be interesting to show you the story because it spoke to me, it made a connection to me. Even for the genetically gifted, we need to practice emotional patience and commitment to our chosen endeavors. I hope you enjoyed that, and I look forward to seeing you at the next Victor Black Masterclass. Sawadee ka.
The Victor Black Masterclass presentation is brought to you by www.muscleandiron.com.